These were the maximum speeds in qualifying for the Grand Prix proper, not talking the shootout here, in qualifying. The speed trap in Spa, interestingly, was 30 metres after the exit of Radillon, turn 4, the left-hander at the top of the hill, top of Eau Rouge, long before they got to terminal velocity. Just the speed the cars are coming out of Eau Rouge. Lewis Hamilton quickest. So let's have a look at what that means. Lewis Hamilton 3:13, Max Verstappen 3:07. Interesting. Out of Eau Rouge. Can that be right? And I was looking at that and I'm thinking, what do all these numbers mean? They can't be real. There must be errors. Carlos Sainz is second. Fernando Alonso, yeah, he can live with that. He'd be third for sure. Charles up there. Max 3:07. I was just thinking, what is that all about? So then I waited with great interest in the race maximum speeds to see what would happen in the race. And look at the race. Same place. We're talking 30 metres after the exit of Eau Rouge. Quickest, Logan Sargent, 3:23. This is long before DRS. Albon, 3:20. Zhou, 3:20. Verstappen, 3:09, right at the bottom of the list. I couldn't work it out. And I'm not saying I've got it absolutely worked out now. This is putting the two together now. So you can actually look at it yourselves. I mean, the drivers are in a completely different order, and the orders look completely skewed anyway. But if you wanted to have a pattern there, you could say Max hasn't actually changed anything. He's gone as quick in qualifying as he has in the race, whereas a lot of the other quick drivers have all gone relatively slowly in the race. And the guys who are quite slow in qualifying have actually gone very quickly in the race. That's kind of what it looks like there, literally down to halfway down. So what does that mean? I think what we see there is a delineation, literally halfway down the list of drivers there, between the teams that have got pretty aggressive and very good floors and downforce working, and the teams that don't. And the teams that are really aggressive with their aerodynamics, that is, only can get that grunt, aerodynamic downforce, if they run unbelievably low. And that is, they run literally 1 millimeter change is a massive change in the amount of downforce you get from the car. And I don't think the other teams, the lesser teams, have anything like such aggressive downforce, and therefore their ride heights are nothing like as critical. And I think Red Bull went into that race, for example, if you go back to those times, those speeds, I think Red Bull went into that race saying, if we do anything through Eau Rouge remotely quick, we're just going to lose the floor straight away. So we're going to have to be really careful through there. And Max went even slower than that. I mean, he was really slow in the race through S1, Sector 1 and Sector 3, as I said in the race report at the time. And he made it all up in Sector 2, where it wasn't so critical to have to worry about floor damage, providing you stayed away from the curbs. And I think that's what that is. I think that is actually in itself, it tells you which teams have got the downforce kind of working and which teams haven't. And, you could argue that if Max is only doing 3:07 and Lewis is doing 3:13, no wonder Mercedes had a bit of porpoising, because look what Red Bull were doing through there because of that problem. And maybe it worked for one lap. And I think that's what happens with Mercedes going back. There's another thought. I think as a general trend recently, we've seen Mercedes not very good on full tanks. People say, oh, well, single lap compared with the race distance. But I compare the race distance and I break it down to full tanks compared with the back half of the race. And Mercedes generally are better in the back half of the race, as far as I can see. And that can only be because with the extra weight in the car, their floor is right on the edge of what they can do with it. And they probably therefore have to run it a little bit higher, or they have to go a bit slower, or whatever they have to do to get around that, which is a real indication that they're still struggling to have any sort of consistency with that car. And when they talk about the small operating window, that's basically what they're on about. Whereas Red Bull kind of know what they're doing, don't they? They're sort of one step ahead of the game all the time. Spa, Eau Rouge, yeah, watch the floor. We won't be quick through Sector 1. Don't worry, we'll get it all set up for Sector 2. And it worked perfectly. There's a team totally on the case, to me, and getting it absolutely right.